Alright, I'm going to go through a quick little trick that I've been using to get rope down into the cylinder, I guess the cylinder cavity, so that way I can stuff the rope down in there, rotate the engine by hand, compress the rope up into the bottom of the valves, so that way when I take off the valve springs, the ropes don't fall out, or the springs don't fall down into the cylinder. So first thing you need is you need some type of adapter. This has got spark plug threads on it. You can see it's got two different types of spark plug threads. The ones that my car uses actually the smaller set. This is a short little hose, and you can see on the other end I've got a quick fit air, I guess air compressor valve or whatever it is. Quick fit thing. Oh, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm tired. So go ahead and put that guy in there. Thread it into the spark plug socket. Feels pretty good and tight. Next thing I'm going to do is grab my air hose and attach it to the end here, and this is going to actually rotate the engine. It's going to put the cylinder in, instead of top dead center, it's going to put this particular cylinder in bottom dead center. The other thing you want to watch out for is if you have anything that are in the other spark plug tubes, this is going to actually rotate the engine. So it's well, what I was saying as the memory card filled up and the camera stopped recording is that you want to remove anything that you have from the other spark plug tubes. When the piston goes to bottom dead center, it will actually rotate the entire engine, causing some of the pistons to compress and some of the pistons to, I guess, decompress, which could suck things down in through the spark plug tube down into the head. So just to be safe, just kind of remove anything you have that could get sucked down in there, and you'll be okay. Okay, hopefully what I can do here is give you a quick demonstration of how to get rope down inside a cylinder chamber for doing valve seals, where you have to actually take the keepers off of the valve itself. The video that I shot for this originally, I can't find it anymore. I think my camera ran out of memory card or something at the time. So here's essentially what I've got. Just imagine this is the cylinder itself, the cylinder head area. One of the videos will show you how to put the piston at bottom dead center. Imagine that this funnel right here is the spark plug tube. Basically, you know, the spark plug will be down in here, just sitting inside the cylinder head. What I do is I take a bit of rope and I put a little tip on the end of it, just kind of with some tape, just kind of make it pointy so that way you've got no little bits of rope that are going to catch on anything. I'll then take a small piece of PVC. This is a ½ inch, I think, close enough, ½ inch. Put it down inside the piston or the spark plug hole, and then I'll start to feed the rope in from the top. Now what I've noticed in the past is that the rope would kind of get caught on something, because as the rope is going down into the hole, it's not going to line up perfectly like this. In fact, this would probably be a more accurate representation where the rope is going to get caught on something just on the edge. So the trick that I did was put the PVC down in the hole, feed the rope down in, take your air compressor and pull the PVC up just a little bit so it's lifted off the bottom, it's not resting on the bottom of the spark plug hole, and just shoot some compressed air right down inside the hole. Now what will happen is the compressed air will go down to the PVC and catch the rope and actually pull the rope down with reasonable force. You can't be holding on to the rope, and it has to be able to move freely, but it'll pull the rope down. Then any extra air will be able to shoot up off the sides of the PVC and come back out the spark plug hole, spark plug tube. If you have the PVC seated firmly in, the air will go into the cylinder head and just bounce around and shoot the rope back out. Once you have the rope down into the cylinder head, what you need to do is just turn the engine by hand at the crankshaft. On my Montero, I turned it clockwise until essentially all of your coiled up rope, the coiled up rope that's sitting in the cylinder head, will then press up against the bottom of the valves and hold the valves into place while you're doing your valve seal replacement. Just to kind of show you what we're after here, these are the keepers. These actually prevent the I guess the valve from actually coming detached from the spring. You can see here, here's my index finger. Probably should get like a quarter or something, put it in there. But they're not real big. They're real small. They're kind of round shaped. So what I want to do is I'm going to put a magnet right next to the removal tool, so that way when the keepers do come loose, the magnet will catch them up and they won't fall down into the top of the engine head. Alright, I'm going to show you real quick how to remove the valve spring and change the valve seal. One of the most difficult part is actually compressing the spring, and it's really all about the tool you have. You can see right here I've got this is the tool that I've got set up. It's just a bar. It actually bolts into, I've got it bolted into 2 of the valve cover gasket bolts, and then a couple bolts maybe right down in here going into the rocker arm bolt hole. So basically this thing's, you know, real solid. Essentially what I'm going to end up doing is putting the tool that I've got right here, going to reach in, I'm going to compress that spring right there. Alright, so you can see the keepers right on top of the valve spring right here. There's one on this side, and then there's one just on that side. So let's go ahead and try to get those removed. What I'm going to use is just this little bar magnet right here. Actually works pretty good because I can push it down inside the engine if I drop one of the keepers, or I can use it to kind of position things or grab things really easily. So here we go, let's give this a try. Hopefully my camera setup's not in the way. So this is probably not the exact right tool for this. These sections here, there's some different ones. Some of them fit over the valve springs a little bit better, but this seems to be the most sturdy one that came with this little set that I'm renting. So this is what I'm using. And typically what I'll do is I'll just take the magnet, stick it right in on top of the spring there. So that way when the keepers do come loose, they should be attracted right to the magnet. So just put a little pressure on here, and you can see that actually popped up and popped the magnet completely out of there. So that's one of the things you have to be careful of, is that the keepers don't pop up and go flying everywhere. So that's kind of one of the reasons I've got the magnet there. So and there we go. Both the keepers are removed. There's one on that side of the magnet and one on that side of the magnet. Once the keepers are out, the spring will just lift right on out. One thing you need to watch out for is that the top of the spring here has got this little retainer on it, and you don't want to lose that at all. Alright, we've got the spring off. The thing that I'm interested in is this seal right here. Let me show you what a brand new seal looks like. So I'm holding the brand new valve seal. This one actually has a little bit of a silver top to it to kind of indicate which, in the factory manual, the little silver ring says it's supposed to be for an intake or an exhaust valve, but from what I've read, all valve seals are now the same, so this one just has a silver ring on it. You can see it's kind of hollow back there. That kind of fits over the guide that's down in the head. In all the manuals that I've been reading, that seal looks like it should come off really easy. Well, mine don't come off easy at all. They're very difficult to get off, and really it's just a matter of trying to pinch at it with some pliers to kind of break it up a little bit and rip it off with some pliers. So let's give it a go. Now there's probably some people who know better tricks to kind of get this stuff off of here. To be honest, this is my, let's see, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th valve seal that I've ever removed in my life. So I figure this is the best way I got to do it. Doesn't seem to be causing too much damage, other than it's just difficult as I'll get out to get pried up off of here. Oh, there we go. I've got the valve seal removed. You can see it right there. It doesn't look like the camera's focusing on it quite correctly, but valve seal's removed. Alright, putting these seals on really isn't too difficult. Pretty much just a matter of placing the seal over the top of the valve stem and just kind of pushing it on. And I just like to guide it in place by hand best I can. And then once it gets down there, in this case I'm taking a 10mm deep socket, placing it over the top of the seal and just applying some pressure. From what I read, I don't really know how much pressure to apply, so I just put a little bit of weight into it to make sure that the valve seal doesn't go down any further. And once I'm comfortable that the valve seal is seated, just a little bit of pressure, call it good, and I'll pull the valve back up. Makes it easier when putting the keepers back in. Place the spring Make sure you get all the little junk, no junk stuck to the bottom of the spring. Place the spring back over the valve, and ready to go to install the keepers. Alright, installing the keepers is a little trickier, I think, than pulling them out. One of the primary reasons is you have to have everything positioned correctly. What I do is I get my keepers lined up on the magnet so I can grab them pretty easily, and I've been kind of grabbing them with some needle nose pliers. You can kind of see here how I've got those lined up on the magnet. Just makes it easy to grab with the needle nose pliers. Depending upon the tool you're using, you may be able to put the keepers back in with your fingertips. But for this tool that I've got, it's a little easier to do it with needle nose pliers. The only problem I found is that the needle nose pliers become slightly magnetized, and because of that, it then makes them makes the keeper stick to the tip of the needle nose pliers as opposed to just falling right off. Probably need to Google how to demagnetize a tool. And once I Googled that, I'd be able to take the magneticity out of the tips of the pliers, make this a little bit easier. But it is late in the evening, and I want to finish this top row of valves, get to bed, and then maybe reset the tool, finish it up all tomorrow night. So, got the tool in place. You can see I press down. You can see the top of the valve becoming visible. So what I need to do is grab keepers and slip them in place. But first I'm going to have to reposition them because this magnet, or the tripod, is blocking the path that I would take to grab them. Okay, tools in place. Grabbing a keeper. And it's already sticking to the tip of my needle nose pliers. That's awesome. Okay, so I've got a keeper on the tip of my needle nose pliers. Push down the valve spring, put the keeper into place. I try to kind of feed it down in the little hole there, and you can see that didn't go over so well. And actually I dropped the keeper. Oh no, I didn't. It's in place. Excellent. Boy, dropping those keepers down on the top of the engine head is not something you want to do. They're tiny and they're hard to find. So let me go ahead and put the other one into place. And that looks pretty lined up, but let me go ahead and just use my finger to kind of position it. And I don't know if you heard that, but one of the keepers just went flying somewhere. So that's awesome. Let me go ahead and use my magnet, pull this other one out, and we're going to have to go searching. Alright, I previously dropped one of the keepers, but I was able to retrieve it pretty easily. About to put those back on. First thing I want to do is just grab the top of the valve, pull it back up. Again, that cylinder head, I've rotated the engine by hand. There's about 6 feet of rope down inside the cylinder head. Cylinder head's pushing the rope up. Rope is pushing up on the valve to make sure the valve does not fall into the cylinder. That would be a shame. Then I would have to take the head apart, pull the valve out, and put it back together. Basically doing a head gasket job. Alright, let's give this another go. And because it is 11 o'clock at night, it's dark out, and it's actually hard to see a little bit what's going on. But that one looks to be positioned excellently. And we grab the second keeper. And slide that one down in there as well. I'm going to use my finger to massage it into place. There we go. Oh, I thought I had it. And with the camera, who knows if it's even positioned correctly. And there we go. Looks like the keepers are in place. And you can see there. So, job done. Move on to the next cylinder. Alright, well, wouldn't you know it, my memory card ran out as I was videoing that, but hopefully we got everything. I'll just go ahead and pull the rope out so you can kind of see exactly how much rope is in there. There's the end of it. So pretty good length of rope. I'd say it's about 6 feet. After you do that, what you want to do is you want to rotate the engine by hand. I've been turning my engine clockwise. This is a Mitsubishi Montero 1999 3.5 liter, but turn the engine. That's going to bring the cylinder, push it up against the rope. The rope is then going to push on the valves, and that'll prevent the valves from falling into the cylinder cavity.